Stoic philosophers once wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." That right there is the baseline. Gratitude isn't just a feel-good attitude, it's a weapon against entitlement and anxiety. It brings you out of your head and into the moment. See, most people roll out of bed and fall straight into autopilot. Notifications, noise, mental clutter. They're reacting before they've even returned to themselves. And the truth is, if you don't direct your attention first thing in the morning, the world will do it for you. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." If you wake up and let your mind run wild, stressing about work, people, problems, you're not living, you're just surviving. Gratitude interrupts that pattern. It anchors you before the storm begins. And let's be honest, most of us forget how rare and fragile this thing called life really is. We complain, we compare, we coast. But one unexpected event, a diagnosis, an accident, a loss, can flip your entire world. When you truly understand that nothing is guaranteed, gratitude becomes less of a morning ritual and more of a mindset for survival. When you wake up, take 3 deep breaths. That's all. Slow, steady, present. Place your hand on your heart if you need to reconnect with your body, and say it. I'm grateful to be here, not to perform, not to impress, just to be. Socrates once said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." But maybe part of that examination isn't just about asking deep questions. Maybe it's about practicing deep presence. You don't need a fancy journal or some perfect meditation routine. You need one clean thought. This is enough. This moment is enough. And from that seed of enoughness, you grow into a person who doesn't need chaos to feel alive. You start approaching your day with a quieter kind of strength, the kind rooted in stillness, not speed. There's a big difference between starting the day from pressure and starting it from purpose. One feels like drowning, the other feels like clarity. And that shift begins with intention. When you wake up with gratitude, you stop chasing peace all day, because you've already started with it. Think of it like tuning your inner frequency. When you're tuned into appreciation, the things that usually irritate you, traffic, interruptions, delays, they lose their grip. Because you're not reacting from lack, you're responding from wholeness. Even Aristotle spoke to this when he said, "Happiness depends upon ourselves." Not in a selfish, egotistical way, but in the, have you ever noticed how the first few moments after you wake up set the mood for your entire day? Most people reach for their phones, check messages, or start worrying about tasks before they've even taken a breath. But the way you speak to yourself each morning is powerful. It shapes your energy, your mindset, and how you face the world. Today, I want to share something that might just shift the way you start every single day of your life. Most people don't realize this, but those quiet seconds between sleep and action are where your mind is most open and most vulnerable. What you feed it in that moment either strengthens your core or lets chaos in. And if you're constantly waking up stressed, overwhelmed, or just plain lost in the noise, you're not alone. But you do have a choice. And that's where Stoicism enters the chat, not as a dusty philosophy, but as a daily tool. The Stoics believed that how you begin your day is how you train your soul. That if you don't anchor your mind, the world will do it for you. And trust me, the world has its own agenda. So if you're tired of starting your mornings already behind, if you're ready to stop letting yesterday's problems or tomorrow's anxiety own today, I've got 5 simple phrases, daily truths, you can speak to yourself that will change everything. They don't take more than a minute, but the shift they cause, it's deep, it's personal, it's power. If what we're building here resonates with you, if it helps you pause, reflect, and move through life with a little more clarity, consider being part of it. A subscription is more than support. It's a signal to yourself and to others that you value growth that lasts. 1. I'm grateful to be here. You know what's wild? We're always chasing something: success, clarity, love, money, answers. But we rarely pause long enough to appreciate the one thing we already have, right now. And not just the now you scroll past on a motivational quote. I'm talking about the quiet, overlooked miracle of simply waking up, breathing, opening your eyes to a brand new, unwritten day. You didn't earn that. You weren't promised it, but you got it. That's power. That's grace. And that's where your strength actually begins. Not in what you achieve, but in how deeply you recognize the gift of being alive. Before anything, before texts, to-do lists, or even coffee, pause and say this to yourself: I'm grateful to be here. Not because life is polished or perfect, but because it's present. You're still in the game. You still have time to evolve, to make amends, to take risks, to speak truth, to live honestly. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most respected, says that you don't need to wait for circumstances to be ideal to feel fulfilled. Gratitude puts you back in control. It tells your brain, I don't need to have it all figured out to be okay. I don't need external proof to feel internally aligned. And that right there, that's emotional resilience. That's maturity. That's you becoming someone the world can't easily shake. Let's take it even deeper. Psychology has shown that gratitude practices rewire the brain for more long-term well-being. Studies from institutions like Harvard and Berkeley confirm that people who practice daily gratitude consistently report higher levels of optimism, better sleep, and even stronger immune systems. Not because life is easier for them, but because their focus is different. Where others see problems, they see chances. Where others rush, they pause. And it all begins with this internal reset button you press every single morning. Plato said, "A grateful mind is a great mind which eventually attracts to itself great things." That's not some mystical promise. It's basic cause and effect. When you're centered, your decisions are better. When you're appreciative, you attract people who operate from that same energy. When you're grounded, you're less likely to be manipulated, distracted, or derailed. You don't just show up differently, you attract differently. So before your day gets hijacked by obligations and overwhelm, own those first few seconds. Not with pressure, not with a plan, but with presence. I'm grateful to be here. Say it. Feel it. Let it soften your breath and widen your perspective. That phrase may seem small, but it holds the power to recalibrate your entire system. Because gratitude isn't passive, it's powerful. It's how you take control before the world gets a chance to. It's how you stop existing and start living. And the more you practice it, the more you realize this moment right now is the foundation for everything else. Not your goals, not your schedule, not even your coffee. Just this breath, this awareness, this life. Say it with me now, not just once, every morning, before the noise, before the rush. I'm grateful to be here. That's your real reset, and that's where your transformation begins. 2. Yesterday doesn't own me. You ever notice how some people wake up already tired? Not because they didn't sleep, but because they never really let go of yesterday? Their body's rested, but their mind's still spinning, replaying everything that didn't go right. That one thing they wish they said differently, that moment they wish didn't happen. It just loops in their head like a song stuck on repeat. And whether they know it or not, they're dragging all of that into a brand new day. It's like trying to run a race while carrying yesterday's suitcase. Eventually, you're going to trip. Let's be real. We carry way too much weight from the day before. The awkward conversation, the missed deadline, the dumb mistake. And sometimes it's not even just our own stuff. We carry other people's moods, judgments, and expectations too. We let that shadow of what was follow us straight into what could be. But here's something most people forget. You're not meant to relive yesterday. You're meant to learn from it, then leave it where it belongs. That's the real test. Not perfection, but release. So start here. Remind yourself every morning, yesterday doesn't own me. Say it like you mean it. Say it like your peace depends on it. Because it does. That one sentence might not erase the past, but it separates you from it. It draws a boundary between what happened and what you're choosing now. And that boundary, that's freedom. That's your reset. Carl Jung once said, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." That line is gold, because what happened yesterday might explain your pain, but it doesn't get to define your path. You get to decide what story you're telling yourself today. You get to decide whether you carry shame or strength, and that's the part too many people give away. They replay the worst parts of their life like it's homework that was never finished. But at some point, you've got to close the book and write the next chapter. The Stoics had a powerful view on this. They believed that what matters most isn't the event itself, but how you respond to it. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Yesterday might have been a mess. You may have said the wrong thing, lost your cool, missed the opportunity. Okay, but now what? Are you going to live there forever, or are you going to take what you learned and move forward? Stronger, sharper, clearer? Think about it like this. Every day is like a fresh journal page. But if you keep scribbling yesterday's story on today's page, you never get to write anything new. That's why letting go isn't weakness. It's wisdom. It's emotional discipline. It's the decision to say, "I won't waste today fighting battles I've already lost or trying to fix things that no longer exist." That's strength most people overlook. The strength to stop picking the same wound. Socrates believed that an examined life was essential, but that doesn't mean you keep poking at the past until it bleeds again. Examining doesn't mean reliving. It means observing, understanding, and then releasing. Take the lesson, leave the weight. And if that sounds too simple, ask yourself, what has holding on to yesterday really done for you? Has it healed you, helped you, or has it just made your present heavier than it needs to be? Now here's something practical. Picture the thoughts you're holding, regret, guilt, embarrassment, as stones in a backpack. Every morning, before you get out of bed, close your eyes and imagine taking that backpack off. Literally visualize it, sliding off your shoulders and hitting the floor. Feel your body relax. Let that visual become a ritual. Because when you let go physically and mentally, your nervous system gets the message. We're safe, we're free, we're starting clean. Aristotle taught that habit is what forms character. So what if you made this letting go process a habit? Not a one-time thing, but a muscle you flex every day. The more you practice release, the easier it gets to separate your identity from your old wounds. You stop being the person who's always messing up or always behind, and you start being the person who recovers fast, forgives quicker, and chooses peace on purpose. And it's not just about big moments either. Sometimes we carry tiny things we didn't even realize were weighing us down. The tone in someone's text, the thing we overheard, the passive-aggressive comment that got under our skin. Little stuff that builds up until we don't even know why we're so tense. That's why this practice matters daily. Not just when you've had a meltdown, but every morning. Check in, clear out. There's a quote often attributed to Plato: "The beginning is the most important part of the work." And it's true. If you begin your day carrying the past, your actions, your words, your choices, they're all filtered through that residue. But if you begin with presence and release, you get clarity, you get power. You don't bring the noise of yesterday into today's silence. So here's the move. Stop treating every day like it's a continuation of your worst memory. That's not fair to you. That's not fair to your growth. Yesterday had its shot. Today is yours, and you owe it to yourself to show up fully, not halfway, not haunted, not on autopilot. Say it again with me. Yesterday doesn't own me. That's not denial. That's direction. That's you choosing healing over hurt. That's you remembering that your future isn't built on the debris of your past. It's built on the choices you make now. So choose presence, choose peace, choose to drop the weight, and then go live like you mean it. 3. I control my mind, not the other way around. It's easy to feel like life is spinning out of control these days. One moment you're sipping coffee, the next you're drowning in texts, news updates, messages, meetings, and then come the thoughts, fast, noisy, demanding your attention. It's like your mind opens its own app and starts launching tabs you never clicked on. Before you know it, you're not thinking, you're being thought, you're reacting, you're chasing every feeling, every worry, every what if. It's exhausting, and it's a trap. The Stoics saw this coming centuries ago. They knew that the chaos outside isn't nearly as dangerous as the chaos inside. That's why they trained daily to master their minds before the world could. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That right there is the core of all personal power. Not in controlling others, not in controlling every outcome, but in controlling the only thing you ever really could, your response. And that's where your morning comes in. Before the world wakes up and starts screaming, there's this tiny window of silence, a pause. And what you do in that pause sets the tone for everything. So here's your anchor. Say this to yourself. I control my mind. Say it before your phone, before your tasks, before your thoughts start spinning. Say it with your whole chest. Because when you claim that truth early, you build a shield that lasts all day. Carl Jung once wrote, "Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes." That's not just poetry, it's a blueprint. Most people go through their day completely outward focused, pulled by noise, comparison, ego, status. But the moment you shift your gaze inward, even for 60 seconds, you start to wake up. You realize that not every emotion is true. Not every thought deserves your attention. Your mind might be busy, but you don't have to be. Here's something simple you can try. First thing in the morning, just sit still. 1 minute, nothing fancy, no music, no scrolling, just you and your breath. Inhale slowly, exhale slower, and as the thoughts come, and they will, let them pass like clouds. Don't grab onto them, don't judge them, just breathe. That space between stimulus and response, that's where your power lives. That's where you remember, I am not my thoughts, I'm the one watching them. Plato believed that the first and greatest victory is to conquer yourself, not your job, not your schedule, not your inbox, yourself. And that victory starts in your head. Every time you catch yourself spiraling, overthinking, reacting, you've got a choice. Will you let your mind drag you, or will you direct it? Will you be the driver or just the passenger? And look, this isn't about becoming some monk on a mountain. It's about practical control in a loud world. It's about choosing your mood instead of being hijacked by it. You don't have to answer every call. You don't have to feed every fear. You don't have to let every little inconvenience ruin your peace. Peace isn't passive. It's a decision. And the more you decide to claim it, the more natural it becomes. Socrates once said, "The secret of change is to focus all of your energy, not on fighting the old, but on building the new." And the new starts with you saying, "This is the direction I'm moving in. This is the tone I'm setting. This is the mindset I choose." Because your mindset isn't something you inherit, it's something you train. And psychology backs this up. Neuroscience tells us that your brain isn't fixed, it's plastic. It rewires itself based on what you focus on. If you spend all morning reacting, doom scrolling, comparing, complaining, your brain gets better at stress. But if you spend your mornings anchoring, breathing, choosing, observing, your brain gets better at calm. You literally train yourself for peace. Even Aristotle pointed out that we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Think about that. You don't become mentally strong overnight. You become it by choosing the same intention every morning. I control my mind. That's your rep. That's your discipline. And like lifting a weight, it gets easier with time. So the next time your mind starts pulling you toward doubt, toward anger, toward distraction, pause, breathe, and remember, just because the thought showed up doesn't mean you have to follow it. Just because something's loud doesn't mean it's true. Your inner voice, when trained, is stronger than all the outer noise combined. But you have to choose it. And yeah, you're gonna mess up. You'll have days where your mind runs the show and you forget all of this. That's okay. Don't judge it. Just return. The Stoics weren't about being perfect. They were about being aware. The real growth isn't in never slipping. It's in noticing sooner when you do and returning faster to who you really are. So tomorrow morning, before the emails, before the headlines, before the world reaches for your attention, sit with yourself. Close your eyes, inhale calm, exhale chaos, and speak it out loud or in your heart. I control my mind. Let that be your compass. Let that be your center. Because the world might be loud, but you're louder when you choose to be. And that's how you take your power back every single day. 4. Kindness is my superpower. There's something magnetic about people who walk into a room and bring calm with them. They don't have to speak loudly or dominate the space. Their presence just feels grounded. You feel safe around them, like their energy isn't looking to prove anything. And you wonder, how do they do that? The answer isn't fame, money, or some fancy self-help routine. It's something much simpler and much more powerful. It's kindness, real kindness, the kind that isn't performative, the kind that's rooted in inner strength, not weakness. You ever meet someone whose energy just feels peaceful? That's not random, that's intentional. It starts with this daily decision. Kindness is my superpower, not in a soft, airy Instagram quote way, but in a grounded, practical, stoic way. Because being kind doesn't mean being passive. It doesn't mean you let people walk all over you or avoid difficult truths. In fact, it's the opposite. True kindness takes self-control. It requires discipline. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Kindness is invincible if it's sincere, not fawning or pretending." What can even the most malicious person do if you keep treating them with kindness and remain firm? That's the balance. Gentle but not fragile. Soft-spoken but not silent. In the modern world, we often mistake harshness for strength, as if being cold or detached somehow proves you're in control. But here's what Stoicism teaches us. The strongest person isn't the one who controls others. It's the one who controls themselves. Kindness is a form of self-mastery. It means you've developed enough awareness to pause before reacting, enough humility to listen before judging, and enough courage to extend grace even when it's not deserved. Carl Jung said, "Knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darkness of other people." That hits hard, doesn't it? Because we all have that inner storm, the insecurities, the pain, the fear, and when we see it in others, we often forget they're battling their own version of what we're dealing with. Kindness bridges that gap. It's not about being overly positive or pretending everything's okay. It's about choosing to see the humanity in people, even when it's buried under layers of defensiveness or anger. Start your day with that mindset, and you'll feel the shift. You'll speak softer, not because you're weak, but because you don't need to shout to be heard. You'll react slower, not because you're indifferent, but because you value peace more than being right. And you'll lead with patience, not because you don't care, but because you understand that transformation takes time, yours and everyone else's. Socrates once said, "Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle." And he wasn't being poetic, he was being real. Most of the pain people project has nothing to do with you. It's their own stuff, their own wounds, their own unresolved stories. When you operate from that awareness, you don't take things so personally. You start to see beyond the surface, that rude comment, fear, that passive aggression, insecurity, that silence, probably pain. Kindness doesn't mean excusing bad behavior, but it does mean responding with clarity instead of ego. And here's where it gets even more practical. Visualize one kind thing you'll do today. Seriously, pick something right now. Maybe it's complimenting someone who seems down. Maybe it's pausing to really listen when someone speaks. Maybe it's texting a friend just to say you're thinking of them. Doesn't matter how small it is, it adds up. That one act might be the only good thing someone experiences today. And the wild part, it will probably do more for you than it does for them. Because every kind action reinforces your identity as someone who leads with intention, not impulse. Plato believed that excellence is not an act, but a habit. So is kindness. It's not about waiting until you're in a perfect mood or until someone deserves it. It's about choosing who you want to be on purpose, making it a practice, repeating it until it becomes your nature. And when it becomes your nature, your presence shifts. You no longer enter rooms trying to get something. You show up to offer something. That's a different kind of power, a deeper kind. And yes, people might misunderstand you. They might mistake your patience for passivity, your calm for disinterest. But here's the key. You're not doing it for them. You're doing it because it aligns with your values. You're doing it because it reflects the person you're building. And the truth is, nothing builds long-term influence like consistent kindness. Not charm, not intellect, not hustle, kindness. The Stoics weren't soft. They were warriors of the mind. They faced hardship, betrayal, loss, and still believed in leading with virtue. To them, kindness wasn't an accessory, it was core. It was the foundation of a life well lived. And when you understand that, you stop looking for applause. You stop trying to prove your worth. You just live it, quietly, consistently, completely. So tomorrow morning, before you get swept into the day, pause, center yourself, and remind your mind, kindness is my superpower. Not because you need people to like you, but because it's who you choose to be. Then go out there and live like someone who's not afraid to be good, not fake good, strong good. That's what leaves a mark. That's what rewrites the energy of a room. And more often than not, that's what ends up changing people, starting with you. 5. This moment is all I have, so I'm gonna enjoy it. Have you ever blinked and realized an entire week just flew by? Not in a poetic life is beautiful kind of way, but in a slightly disorienting, where did the time go kind of way. 1 minute you're sipping your morning coffee, and the next you're buried under a mountain of notifications, meetings and responsibilities you barely remember agreeing to. It's like the day ran away without asking permission, and you're stuck trying to catch up. That's modern life for most of us. Fast, loud, demanding. But here's something that cuts through all that noise like a blade. Everything is temporary. And that truth isn't meant to scare you, it's meant to wake you up. The stress? Temporary. The pressure? Temporary. Even the joy, the peace, the good stuff, it too is passing. That's what makes it precious. The Stoics understood this better than anyone. They practiced what's called memento mori, a daily reminder of mortality, not to be dark or depressing, but to be aware. Because when you realize nothing is guaranteed, not tomorrow, not even the next hour, you start treating the present moment with more respect. Plato once said, "Time is the moving image of eternity." That hits differently when you think about how little of it we actually use well. So much of our time is spent either regretting the past or worrying about the future. We rarely just are. But presence is a skill, a discipline, something you have to train, just like your body, your mind, or your patience. Carl Jung believed that the ability to be in the present moment is a major component of mental wellness. And it makes sense, doesn't it? Most of our anxiety lives in the future. Most of our sorrow lives in the past. The present? That's where your feet actually are. That's where the breath lives. That's where power exists. But we're so distracted, we miss it. We miss the sunlight streaming through the window, the taste of our breakfast, the way the air feels right before a rainstorm. These small moments, overlooked by many, are everything. So here's your reminder. Say it to yourself like you mean it. This moment is all I have, so I'm gonna enjoy it. Not tomorrow, not later. Now this cup of coffee, this quiet space before the kids wake up, this conversation you're having with a friend where, for once, nobody's checking their phone. Life isn't waiting to start. It's happening right now. And if you're not fully in it, you're not just missing time, you're missing your life. Aristotle talked about eudaimonia, the idea of flourishing, of living a good and meaningful life. He didn't tie that to some distant goal or external success. He tied it to virtue in action, how you live each moment, how you show up with integrity, awareness and intention. Enjoying the present doesn't mean ignoring your responsibilities. It means learning how to fully experience whatever moment you're in, even the messy ones. Let's be honest though, presence is hard. It's much easier to distract yourself, to stay busy, to always think about what's next. Because sitting still with yourself, that's where the real work begins. The Stoics called this inner stillness ataraxia, a kind of serene calm that isn't shaken by the outside world. And one of the fastest ways to tap into that calm is to slow down and notice the moment you're in. Whether it's brushing your teeth or watching the wind move through the trees, let yourself be there. And look, this isn't about pretending life isn't stressful. It absolutely is. The world will continue to move fast. People will continue to pull at your time and energy. But when you practice presence, you stop giving your power away. You stop being ruled by urgency, and instead you choose clarity. Seneca wrote, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." That's it. Not just surviving, but enjoying. And enjoyment doesn't have to be loud or dramatic. It can be found in stillness, in quiet appreciation, in the pause between things. So tomorrow, or even right now as you're reading this, pause. Take one deep breath. Feel it travel through your chest. Notice where your feet are. Notice what you hear, smell, taste, touch. Be where you are, not where you think you need to be. Presence is power because it brings you back to yourself. Not the version of you that's performing, not the version that's planning or regretting, just you here. Socrates, the master of questioning everything, once asked, "How can you wonder your travels do you no good when you carry yourself around with you?" The truth is, it doesn't matter where you are or what you're doing. If you can't be present, nothing will satisfy you. Not success, not status, not escape. That's why presence isn't optional, it's essential. You want more fulfillment, more connection, more peace? It doesn't come from doing more, it comes from noticing more, it comes from paying attention, it comes from choosing to enjoy the little things while they're happening, instead of missing them and wishing you'd paid attention. This moment, this one, is already slipping away. Not in a dramatic way, just quietly, like it always does. So hold it a little longer, appreciate it a little deeper, and remind yourself often, everything is temporary, so I will enjoy this moment. That mindset doesn't just slow down time, it stretches it, makes it richer, more meaningful, and over time, you begin to realize this moment was never small. It was everything. You just needed to notice. Imagine getting up every morning feeling energized, clear, and sure that the day ahead is not just another one, but a genuine opportunity to grow, move forward, and finally take charge of your life. But let's get real for a second. How often do you actually wake up feeling this way? If you're like most people, you're probably dragging yourself out of bed, feeling stuck, lost, or simply trapped in habits that don't serve you anymore. The truth is, how you start your morning isn't just about those first few minutes. It's about shaping the entire course of your day, your mindset, and ultimately, your life. The ancient Stoics understood this well. Marcus Aurelius said, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." Today, we're diving deep into how you can practically apply this wisdom every morning, creating powerful habits that help you master your mind and seize control of your day. If you resonate with what we're doing here and find value in taking back your mornings and your life, a simple free favor I'll ask of you is to hit that subscribe button. It genuinely supports the channel and it helps us reach more people who need this message. Now, let's get into it. 1. Wake up early. Let's face it, most of us have a complicated relationship with mornings. I get it, your bed feels like a warm embrace, and the snooze button is your best friend whispering sweet lies of just 5 more minutes. But here's the truth most people won't admit. Early mornings are absolute game changers. I'm not saying this just to sound motivational. This is reality speaking. Those quiet early hours, before emails flood in, before texts ping, before the chaos of life takes hold, are your golden ticket to clarity and control. Picture this, waking up just 1 hour earlier than you usually do, just one single hour. It might seem trivial or even painful at first, but imagine that hour as a peaceful sanctuary of uninterrupted time. Think of it as your personal oasis in the bustling desert of daily life. No distractions, no demands, just you and your thoughts, planning your day, setting your intentions, or even indulging in reading something meaningful, something that anchors you in wisdom and perspective. The ancient Stoics understood this better than anyone. Seneca once said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality," reminding us that the dread of waking early is often worse than the actual act. It's not the waking up that hurts. It's the story we tell ourselves that we'll be tired, miserable, or ineffective that truly holds us back. By rising earlier, you break this illusion, proving to yourself that discipline is freedom as Stoicism beautifully teaches. And yes, it's going to feel uncomfortable initially, but growth never comes from comfort zones. Carl Jung, the brilliant psychologist, put it powerfully when he said, "Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes." That extra hour in the morning is precisely when you can look inward, awakening not just your body, but your deeper self, your authentic vision, and your genuine purpose. It's when insights surface, problems unravel, and clarity emerges. 2. Drink water. First thing. Your alarm goes off, you drag yourself out of bed, and what's the first thing you reach for? Let's be real. Most of us bolt straight for the coffee machine, eager for that caffeinated comfort, that familiar jolt we convince ourselves we need just to feel human again. And hey, I'm not saying coffee is evil. Trust me, I get it. But here's a simple truth that we often overlook in our groggy desperation for that first espresso. Your body wakes up dehydrated, literally. Overnight, your brain and body go without hydration for hours, making water, not caffeine, the first thing you genuinely need. So instead of immediately flooding your system with caffeine, start your day with a tall, refreshing glass of water. Think of it as hitting the reset button on your system. A simple yet powerful ritual that sets the tone for clarity and balance throughout your day. Stoic philosophers often emphasize the importance of mastering the small, everyday actions as keys to a greater life. Epictetus, one of Stoicism's sharpest minds, reminds us, progress is not achieved by luck or accident, but by working on yourself daily. Drinking water first thing is exactly that. An act of daily discipline, a subtle signal to your mind and body that you're prioritizing well-being above habit. Your brain, fascinatingly, is composed mostly of water. When dehydrated, it struggles to function optimally. Attention, memory, and mood all suffer. Starting your day by replenishing those essential fluids is like giving your mind a gentle yet decisive wake-up call, preparing you to tackle whatever lies ahead with clearer thinking and steadier emotions. Carl Jung once remarked, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." This simple morning habit, drinking water before coffee, is a prime example of turning an unconscious, automatic reaction, that sleepy stumble toward the coffee pot, into a conscious, deliberate choice. It's about reclaiming control over your impulses, choosing wellness and clarity first, rather than habitually reaching for instant gratification. Third, skip the phone scroll. Your morning is sacred ground. It's a blank canvas, a fresh start, an open field of possibilities. And yet, most of us sabotage it instantly by grabbing our phones and plunging into the chaos of notifications. That immediate rush of digital input floods your mind with anxiety, distractions, and stress, hijacking your day before it even has a chance to begin. Think about it. One moment you're lying comfortably, enjoying the last remnants of restful peace, and the next you're tangled up in emails, breaking news alerts, and Instagram stories from people you barely remember meeting. Why hand over control of your precious morning clarity to random updates and algorithms? Stoicism teaches us to guard our inner peace fiercely. Marcus Aurelius famously advised, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Your phone is the gateway through which countless outside events invade your mental sanctuary every morning. By delaying that scroll, even just 30 minutes, you reclaim the power to choose your thoughts rather than reacting to whatever the digital world throws at you. Carl Jung also warned us clearly, "We are not what happened to us. We are what we choose to become." Each morning, you face a crucial choice. Will you become someone driven by external pressures and distractions, Or will you deliberately shape your day around intention and self-awareness? Skipping that morning scroll doesn't just protect your mental state, it cultivates a stronger sense of self. You start the day knowing exactly who's in charge, you, not your feed. Consider how different your morning feels when you trade the screen for a moment of silence or reflection. Perhaps you journal, read a meaningful passage, or simply breathe deeply, gathering your thoughts. You might even rediscover forgotten pleasures like savoring the quiet or noticing the early sunlight. When you choose presence over endless scrolling, the day unfolds from clarity rather than chaos. 4. Small wins matter. There's something oddly powerful about starting your day with a small act of order. Not a big breakthrough, not a major win, just something simple, something within reach. You wake up, pull the covers tight, fluff the pillows, straighten the sheets, and boom. You've already done something intentional, something complete. You've started the day with structure instead of chaos. And that's not just homemaking, it's mental training. We live in a world that glorifies massive transformations and overlooks the value of tiny, consistent habits. But the Stoics knew better. They understood that greatness isn't found in grand gestures. It's forged in daily discipline, cleanliness, order, focus. Marcus Aurelius said, "Don't waste the rest of your life worrying about what other people think of you. It keeps you from doing anything useful." And isn't that what a messy room reflects sometimes? A mind that's distracted, pulled in 10 directions, worried more about the world outside than the world within. Making your bed might sound trivial, but it's the first signal you send to your brain. I'm in control today. I don't need motivation. I've got momentum. This one small act becomes your first promise kept. And promises kept build trust with yourself. A kind of self-respect that isn't loud, but runs deep. Admiral William McRaven put it bluntly, if you want to change the world, start by making your bed. Not because your bed alone will revolutionize your life, but because it sets a tone. If you can't get the little things right, how can you expect to manage the big ones? If you build the discipline to execute something so small, every day, without fail, what else might you be capable of? The ripple effect is real. Psychologically, it's even deeper. Carl Jung believed in the symbolic power of the environment. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate, he wrote. That cluttered space around you, it's not just messy, it reflects inner noise, unprocessed thoughts, unresolved emotion. Tidy your environment, and you often find your thoughts follow. A made bed isn't just aesthetics, it's psychological alignment. This is how the Stoics lived, not with perfection, but with purpose. They started each day by asserting control over their time, their space, and their mindset. Making your bed is about beginning the day on your terms. It's a declaration. I will not be ruled by disorder. I will not allow my environment to set the tone for my mind. I choose discipline, even in the smallest things. 5th morning movement. Some mornings it feels like your body is dragging your soul behind it. Heavy limbs, foggy head, zero motivation. But the problem isn't that you're lazy or broken, it's that your system is still asleep. Your mind might have opened its eyes, but your body hasn't caught up yet. And until both are in sync, you're operating on low power. The fastest way to snap that connection into place: move. You don't need to crush a workout or sweat through your shirt before breakfast. This isn't about chasing six-packs or fitness PRs. It's about one simple thing: activating your life force. Movement, gentle, deliberate, even slow, is your body's way of saying, I'm here, I'm ready, let's go. A few stretches, a walk around the block, some squats or yoga poses. That's it. Just enough to wake up the nervous system, get the blood flowing, and remind your brain that you're not a machine. you're alive. The Stoics valued physical strength not for vanity, but for vitality. Epictetus once said, "No great thing is created suddenly. That includes your energy, your discipline, your sense of control. It builds slowly, habitually, day by day. Movement in the morning isn't a workout, it's a ritual, a quiet act of self-respect that echoes through your mood, your focus, and even your relationships." There's psychology behind this too. Carl Jung believed in the deep link between body and mind, between what's unconscious and how it speaks through our flesh. He said, "The body is merely the visibility of the soul, the psyche. If you're stiff, locked up, or physically dormant, what's your psyche saying? That it's stuck, repressed, tired. Get your body moving, and the mind often follows, not the other way around. And there's something else, the emotional reset that comes with motion. Feel anxious? Move. Feel stuck? Move. Feel sad, unmotivated, uninspired? Move. Motion disrupts stagnation. It doesn't have to be elegant or choreographed. You just have to start. Because once momentum kicks in, it creates a domino effect. Energy rises, clarity emerges, and suddenly you're not just going through the motions, you're steering your day with purpose. Seneca reminded us that it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. And let's be honest, how many mornings are wasted by scrolling in bed, laying still, waiting to feel like it? Don't wait. Don't negotiate. Just move. Do it before your excuses catch up. 6. Shock your mind awake. There's a moment right before you step into a cold shower where your brain screams, "Nope, not today." And it's in that exact moment, when every part of you wants to retreat, that the transformation begins. That hesitation, that resistance, that's your comfort zone digging in its heels. But if you've been chasing mental strength, emotional clarity, or even just a sharper start to your morning, here's your entry point. Cold water, no filters, no fluff, just you, your breath, and your will. Now, let's get this out of the way. Yes, it sucks at first. It's not supposed to feel good, but that's the point. The Stoics were obsessed with voluntarily facing discomfort, not because they liked suffering, but because they knew something most of us forget. Comfort breeds weakness. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." In a world built on avoiding discomfort, stepping into a cold shower is a radical declaration that you're choosing to live, with intention, courage, and grit. Psychologically, cold exposure jolts you into the present. The shock to your system pulls you out of mental fog and forces you to breathe deeply, focus, and override your instincts to flee. That's neuroplasticity in action, your brain rewiring itself to handle discomfort with less panic and more poise. Carl Jung once said, "What you resist persists." And that resistance to cold, that's symbolic of every other discomfort you avoid. Fear of failure, of criticism, of uncertainty. Face the water, and you begin learning to face the rest. It also builds what the Stoics called fortitude, mental resilience. Seneca believed in training the body and mind for adversity. He fasted, he wore rough clothes, he did hard things, not for the struggle, but for the strength it gave him. Cold showers are a modern version of that. A daily practice of resistance training for your nervous system. You step in, you breathe through the shock, and in doing so, you prove to yourself that you can endure discomfort without flinching. That kind of confidence doesn't stay in the bathroom. It follows you into work, into relationships, into life. And then there's the physiological benefit. Cold showers increase blood flow, release endorphins, and spike your alertness. You don't need coffee to feel awake. You need courage. That icy rush clears out the mental cobwebs and drops you straight into the moment. Alert, energized, present. But here's the thing, you don't have to start with 5 minutes. Start with 30 seconds, just a blast of cold to end your warm shower. One moment of shock, one small win, one chance to say, I do hard things. The Stoics believed virtue was forged in action, not theory. This is your action, a moment of self-conquest. 7. Journaling. There's something powerful about giving shape to your thoughts, turning the mess inside your head into something visible, something real. Most of us carry a constant stream of worries, to-dos, memories, judgments, ideas, all swirling in a chaotic loop. And left unchecked, that loop becomes a trap. It steals your focus, poisons your mood, and clouds your decisions before your day even begins. That's why journaling isn't some artsy trend, it's mental hygiene. A few minutes with a pen and paper can do more for your clarity than hours of overthinking ever will. The act is simple. Sit down and write. No rules, no grammar police. Just a raw, honest release of whatever's sitting in your chest or cluttering your mind. It might be a lingering worry from yesterday, a vivid dream, a flash of gratitude, or a sharp piece of self-reflection. Let it pour out. Don't filter. Don't edit. This is not about writing something beautiful. It's about emptying the mental junk drawer before the day fills it up again. The Stoics practiced this centuries ago. They wrote letters to themselves, reflections, reminders, warnings. Marcus Aurelius kept a journal we now know as Meditations, never meant to be published, never written for others, just private, personal notes to keep his principles sharp and his ego in check. In one passage he says, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." That line may never have existed if he hadn't written it down, if he hadn't processed his challenges with ink and insight. Journaling didn't just help him reflect, it helped him govern an empire with composure. Modern psychology backs this up too. Carl Jung believed the unconscious mind constantly tries to communicate with us, often through symbols, moods, and dreams. He wrote, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." And what better way to bring the unconscious to light than by writing it down? When you journal, you give your inner world a voice. You uncover patterns you didn't know existed, repeating frustrations, buried fears, old stories you've been living by without questioning. Journaling is like having a quiet conversation with the part of you that rarely gets to speak, the part that isn't performing or pleasing, the part that tells the truth. And in that honesty, something shifts. You start seeing your situation more clearly. Decisions feel less overwhelming. You begin to notice what actually matters and what's just noise. Even on your worst days, your journal is a safe space. You can be angry, anxious, lost, and still it listens. Still it holds you. And on your best days, it becomes a vault of insights and victories you'll forget, unless they're captured in your own words. Seneca wrote, "We should every night call ourselves to an account." He believed that self-examination was the root of wisdom. Morning journaling is that same principle in action, except you're not just reviewing the past, you're preparing your mind for the day ahead. 8. Set clear daily goals. There's a strange kind of anxiety that comes not from doing too much, but from not knowing what to do at all. You wake up, maybe you even feel motivated, but by the time noon hits, you're aimlessly jumping between tasks, chasing distractions, and ending the day exhausted with nothing real to show for it. That's not laziness. That's lack of direction. And when you don't give your day a target, you give your energy away to anything loud enough to grab your attention. This is where goal setting comes in, not in the lofty, abstract vision board kind of way. I'm talking about setting clear, immediate goals, the kind you can act on today. Not 20, not 10, just 3. 3 concrete, achievable tasks that move the needle, that create progress instead of motion. Because, let's be honest, being busy doesn't mean you're being productive. And unless you define what success looks like today, you'll spend your time reacting to everything that isn't. The Stoics were deeply intentional with their time. They didn't believe in wandering through the day waiting for clarity to magically appear. Epictetus put it bluntly, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Translation: know where you're going, or someone else will take you somewhere else entirely. Even psychology backs this. Carl Jung emphasized the importance of individuation, essentially becoming a whole-directed person. He believed that goals aren't just tools for achievement, but for self-realization. Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes. When you define your goals with honesty and intention, you're not just planning your day, you're shaping your identity. And here's the thing, goals don't need to be massive. In fact, smaller is better. Reply to that email I've been avoiding. Write 1 page. Walk for 20 minutes. When you keep your goals simple and actionable, you give yourself permission to actually finish something, and that creates momentum. Accomplishment isn't about size, it's about completion. Because 1 finished task builds confidence, 10 half-done ones, they build frustration. 9. Feed your mind. Most people don't realize how fragile their mental state is in the morning. You wake up and within seconds your brain is scanning for input, something to react to, something to attach to. And what do most of us give it? Doom scrolling, outrage, clickbait, headlines that spike cortisol before you've even had breakfast. The worst part? You barely notice it's happening. You think you're catching up, but what you're really doing is feeding your mind junk and expecting it to carry you through a meaningful day. Here's the truth. Your mind is hungry the moment you wake up. It craves direction, purpose, clarity, and just like your body performs better when you fuel it with clean food, your thoughts perform better when you fuel them with clean content. If you feed your mind noise, you get confusion. If you feed it substance, you get strength. The Stoics knew this long before smartphones existed. They believed the first thoughts of your day should be chosen, not inherited from the world. Seneca wrote, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." In modern terms, that includes the content you consume. Books, essays, philosophy, podcasts. These are your morning mentors. 10 pages of something that elevates you, grounds you, or even challenges your assumptions will do more for your growth than hours of passive scrolling ever could. And it's not about becoming some rigid intellectual, it's about being intentional. You're choosing what kind of thoughts you want, shaping your decisions. What kind of emotions you want leading your conversations. What kind of values you want guiding your life. Because whether you know it or not, you're being shaped. Every morning, every input. Carl Jung said, "You are what you do, not what you say you'll do." And reading, feeding your mind deliberately, is doing something. It's action, not just wishful thinking. Even Marcus Aurelius began each day with meditations, not strategy briefings, not political drama, but inward reflection grounded in philosophy. Why? Because he knew that before he could lead others, he had to lead himself. And leading yourself starts with the ideas you choose to absorb. This doesn't have to be a massive lifestyle shift. You don't need to devour an entire book before sunrise. Start small, 10 minutes, a few pages, a podcast episode that speaks truth into your ear instead of noise. Think of it as tuning your instrument before a performance. You're aligning your thoughts with what matters most before life starts demanding things from you. 10. See yourself succeed. Some people wake up and stumble straight into their day, half asleep, already reacting to whatever life throws at them. But others, those who seem calm, clear and centered, start differently. They take a few quiet minutes to see the day before they live it. Not on a screen, not in a planner, but in the theater of their own mind. They close their eyes and picture who they want to be, how they want to move, how they want to respond, not perfectly, but with purpose, and it makes all the difference. Visualization might sound abstract or even woo-woo to some, but it's one of the most grounded, science-backed practices for shaping real results. When you imagine yourself succeeding, actually see it in detail, your brain begins to create the neurological pathways needed to turn that vision into reality. You prime your mind to expect success, to notice opportunities, to filter distractions. It's not magic, it's biology. And when done consistently, it can help rewire your mindset to act in alignment with your goals instead of your fears. Stoicism understood this long before neuroscience caught up. The Stoics practiced a form of mental rehearsal called premeditatio malorum, a reflection on what could go wrong, not to catastrophize, but to prepare. But they also believed in contemplating who they wished to become. Epictetus said, "Practice yourself, for heaven's sake, in little things, and then proceed to greater." Visualization is that practice. You're rehearsing strength, courage, clarity before the test arrives. You're training your inner world so that your outer world doesn't shake you so easily. Athletes like Michael Phelps used visualization daily, not once in a while, not just before a big event, daily. He would mentally rehearse his swim down to the tiniest movement. So when the moment came, his body knew what to do because his mind had already been there. That's what makes this practice so powerful. You're not just thinking positively, you're mentally rehearsing success. You're building familiarity with the version of yourself that already knows how to win. And this isn't just for athletes, this is for you. Before that meeting, before that difficult conversation, before that personal goal that keeps slipping. Spend 5 quiet minutes seeing the outcome you want. Feel it. Don't just picture yourself doing the task. Picture how you stand, how you breathe, how you handle setbacks. Make it visceral. Make it believable. Marcus Aurelius, writing to himself in Meditations, reminded himself daily of how he wanted to act and respond, not react. He didn't leave that to chance. He visualized self-mastery before the pressure arrived, and if it was good enough for the most powerful man in the Roman Empire, maybe it's good enough for the rest of us too. 11th, practice gratitude. It's easy to forget how much you already have when your attention is constantly pulled toward what's missing. We live in a world that pushes us to chase more success, more recognition, more goals. And in that chase, we often lose sight of what's already right in front of us. Gratitude isn't some soft, feel-good concept. It's a discipline, a mental practice, a way of anchoring yourself in reality when everything around you feels like it's spinning. Because here's the truth, your brain is wired to focus on problems. It's a survival instinct. If you don't take control of that focus, it will naturally drift toward what's wrong, what's lacking, what could go wrong. But when you stop, just for a minute, and bring your awareness to what's good, what's working, what's still here, that's when everything starts to shift. Your mindset changes, your stress settles, your perspective expands. The Stoics knew this long before modern science caught up. Seneca wrote, "Nothing is more honorable than a grateful heart." To him, gratitude wasn't decorative, it was armor, a tool to stay resilient and grounded in a chaotic world. When you choose to be grateful, especially in the face of uncertainty or pressure. You're reclaiming your mental sovereignty. You're proving that you don't need perfect conditions to find something worth appreciating. Carl Jung, looking at this from a psychological lens, believed that much of our suffering stems from disconnection. Disconnection from meaning, from self, and from the present moment. Gratitude acts as a bridge. It reconnects you to the parts of life that matter most. As Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And that process often begins not with some huge breakthrough, but with the quiet realization of how much is already within you and around you. Neuroscience supports what the Stoics and philosophers knew instinctively. Practicing gratitude increases dopamine and serotonin, chemicals that enhance mood and focus. It also lowers cortisol, reducing stress and anxiety. Gratitude isn't just emotional, it's biological. It primes your brain to look for what's right instead of scanning endlessly for what's wrong. Even Marcus Aurelius, in the midst of governing an empire and facing personal hardship, took time for reflection. He reminded himself daily to focus on what was good, useful, and true. Not because life was easy, but because clarity was essential. He wrote, "Do not indulge in dreams of having what you have not, but reckon up the chief of the blessings you do possess." That mindset didn't weaken him, it made him steady, capable. 12th, find inner strength. Most people wake up and dive headfirst into their to-do list, trying to outrun the stress before it catches up with them. But what if, instead of rushing into the day, you grounded yourself first, not with a task, but with a thought? Not just any thought, but one that's been sharpened through centuries of hardship, clarity, and lived human experience. Stoic wisdom isn't ancient for the sake of tradition. It's timeless because it works. The beauty of Stoic philosophy is its simplicity. It doesn't ask you to escape life's chaos, but to meet it head-on with clarity, discipline, and strength. One sentence. That's often all it takes. One line from Marcus Aurelius or Epictetus, held in your mind like a compass, can keep you steady when the world starts spinning. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Let that sink in. The thoughts you carry with you aren't just background noise, they shape who you are becoming. Reflecting on Stoic wisdom each morning helps you choose those thoughts deliberately. You're not just reacting to life, you're preparing for it. It's like putting on emotional armor. When you begin the day by reflecting on a single Stoic idea, you're setting your psychological tone. You're deciding in advance how to respond to setbacks, interruptions, criticism, or uncertainty. Instead of flinching, you move with intention. Instead of spinning in circles, you return to center. This is what Epictetus meant when he said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Psychologically, this kind of reflection has deep roots. Carl Jung emphasized the importance of examining our inner landscape daily. He believed that if we fail to reflect consciously, our unconscious mind ends up directing our behavior without us realizing it. He once said, "Your visions will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes." Morning reflection, then, isn't just philosophical, it's psychological self-defense. You don't need hours, you don't need a full journal entry or a meditation cushion. Just pick a quote, one sentence that speaks to you. Read it, sit with it, ask yourself what it really means, not in some abstract, distant way, but in your life. How does this apply to that meeting you're nervous about, to the relationship you're navigating, to the challenge you've been avoiding? Stoicism isn't meant to stay in books. It's meant to live in your decisions. The more often you do this, the more grounded you become. You start to notice when your mind wants to spiral into drama, when your ego wants to lash out, when your fears want to run the show. And in those moments, you remember the line you started the day with. That simple sentence becomes a quiet force guiding you back to yourself. 13. Connect with nature. There's a kind of exhaustion that has nothing to do with sleep. It's the weight that builds up when your life is lived entirely indoors, beneath fluorescent lights, behind screens, under pressure. It's when your mind is overstimulated and your body underwhelmed. You're constantly plugged in, constantly reacting, and slowly, almost without noticing, you become disconnected from the world, from your body, from yourself. Sometimes the simplest solution isn't more productivity or more stimulation, it's stepping outside. It sounds basic, almost too basic to matter. But spending just a few minutes outside, breathing in real air, feeling the ground under your feet, letting sunlight or even rain touch your skin, can shift your entire mental state. And it's not just about escaping a room, it's about reconnecting with something ancient, something essential. Because before we had cities, algorithms and calendars, we had seasons. We had wind and birdsong and soil. We're still wired for that world, even if we don't live in it anymore. The Stoics, for all their intellect, never saw themselves as separate from nature. In fact, their entire philosophy was based on aligning with it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Adapt yourself to the life you have been given, and truly love the people with whom destiny has surrounded you." That includes the world around you. Nature wasn't just a backdrop to the Stoics. It was a teacher, a reminder that everything changes, everything flows, and everything is connected. Carl Jung took a similar view, though through a psychological lens. He believed that modern man suffered not just from trauma, but from a deep disconnection with the natural world. He said, "Natural life is the nourishing soil of the soul." When we lose contact with that soil, literally and metaphorically, we begin to feel ungrounded, anxious, restless. It's no coincidence that a short walk in the woods can calm you more than hours of overthinking ever could. And no, you don't need to go on a weekend retreat in the mountains. Start small. Step outside for 5 minutes in the morning. Feel the cold of the air or the warmth of the sun. Notice the sky, the trees, the birds, the stillness. It's not about turning it into another task. It's about letting nature remind you of what still exists outside the curated chaos of your schedule. The Greek philosopher Heraclitus once said, "Nature loves to hide." But it's not hiding from you. It's always there, waiting, offering stillness, perspective, beauty, and healing. The more time you spend in it, the less reactive you become. The less urgency everything seems to carry. The more human you start to feel again. 14. Fuel for your mind. There's a reason your mornings feel foggy, slow, or scattered, and it's not just a lack of coffee or motivation. Often, it's because you're trying to run a high-performance machine on fumes. We talk a lot about mindset, productivity, discipline, but forget that your brain is a physical organ. It doesn't run on thoughts alone. It runs on fuel, and the quality of that fuel matters more than we like to admit. Too often, breakfast gets sacrificed at the altar of speed. You're running late, so you skip it entirely or grab something processed, something sugary, quick, and empty. And sure, that might give you a jolt of energy for a while, but then comes the crash, the fog, the irritability, and your day begins to unravel not because you're weak, not because you lack discipline, but because your body was never given what it needed to show up fully. The Stoics would call this a form of self-negligence. Epictetus reminded us that no man is free who is not master of himself. That mastery doesn't just apply to how we think or speak, it applies to how we care for our physical body, and starting your day by honoring your body with real nourishment. That's self-respect in action. Let's break it down practically. Your brain needs certain nutrients to function at its best. protein to stabilize blood sugar, healthy fats to support focus and hormone regulation, real food that digests slowly and fuels you evenly. Think eggs, avocado, Greek yogurt, nuts, oats, not pastries, soda, or energy drinks. When you choose whole, intentional food first thing in the morning, you're not just feeding your body, you're telling your mind, I came to perform today. Carl Jung understood the interconnectedness of the body and the psyche. He believed that the physical and psychological were deeply intertwined. In his view, the body wasn't just a vessel, it was a mirror. He wrote, "The mind is like the eye. It cannot see itself without reflection, and part of that reflection includes how we treat our physical form. What you feed your body becomes the quality of your thoughts, the steadiness of your emotions, and the clarity of your choices." This isn't about guilt or perfection, it's about awareness. Ask yourself, would I expect a high-performing athlete to go into training without fuel? Would I expect a surgeon to perform with shaky hands and a light head? Then why expect yourself to think clearly, act decisively, or stay grounded when your most basic needs are unmet? 15. Speak life into your day. Some mornings, the hardest battle isn't getting out of bed. It's facing the voice inside your own head. That subtle, quiet inner critic that shows up before your feet even touch the floor. The one that whispers doubts, replays yesterday's mistakes, and casts a shadow over your confidence before you've had a chance to prove yourself. It's not loud, but it's persistent. And if you don't counter it, it sets the emotional tone for your entire day. That's why affirmations aren't just positive thinking exercises, they're strategic counterattacks. When done with intention, they're like verbal armor. You're not just saying words, you're rewriting the internal script that's been running on autopilot for years. You're choosing thoughts that align with who you want to become, not who your fears say you are. Marcus Aurelius understood this deeply. As Emperor of Rome, he started his days not with external proclamations, but with inner declarations. In meditations, he reminds himself, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. He knew that whatever thoughts you repeatedly speak, repeat, or focus on, those are the thoughts that color your reality. They shape your behavior, your perception, and eventually your identity. Affirmations are simply a tool for conscious coloring. They take a few seconds, but they ripple out into how you speak, act, and show up throughout the day. Saying something like, I control how I respond, or today, I choose clarity over chaos, may feel strange at first, but your brain is always listening, even when it's you talking to yourself. Carl Jung, from a psychological perspective, emphasized the power of language in shaping our identity. He once wrote, "Words are animals, alive with a will of their own." When you speak words of power, direction, and grounding, you're not just making noise, you're calling something to life. You're speaking not only to yourself, but into yourself. You're reminding your subconscious who's in charge. This doesn't mean you have to shout affirmations into a mirror or recite cheesy slogans that don't resonate with you. The key is sincerity. Choose words that feel rooted in truth, even if they stretch you. Say them with intent. Speak like you're planting something in the soil of your mind, not just throwing phrases into the wind. And when you say them out loud, not just in your head. Sound has power. Vibration reinforces belief. When your own voice speaks confidence, resolve, or peace, it becomes harder for doubt to interrupt. Even if your voice shakes, even if it feels awkward, say it anyway. You're not speaking for who you are now, you're speaking for the person you're becoming. Seneca said, "We become brave by doing brave acts." The same is true of confidence. You don't become confident and then speak confidently. You speak confidence, especially when it feels hard, and slowly you become it. Affirmations are one of the simplest, most direct ways to practice that bravery daily. You don't need to control the whole day. You just need to own your morning. Because how you begin is how you live. Every small decision, every quiet moment of intention echoes through the rest of your life. Strength, clarity, peace. They're not found, they're practiced. If this message spoke to something inside you, there's another video waiting on the screen right now that will take you deeper. Something tells me it's exactly what you need next. Thank you for being a part of Stoic Journal, where we don't chase perfection, we train for presence. Until next time, stay steady, stay grounded, and keep walking the quiet path forward.